Hi, Doreen. Thank you for agreeing to give this interview to me. This is Doreen Campbell, who was formerly Doreen Anita Golding when she came to this country. Right, Doreen, what year did you come to this country?
December 1952. At the,
Why did you come to this country?
my father was in the Royal Air Force, and he came for me from Jamaica, so I'll be with my family.
What year then did your father come to England?
1944,
Wow, so he came during the
in
Second
this
World
World
War.
War. Hmm.
And your mom?
She followed after about 2 years, so later.
Okay.
Mm.
So you came here when you was aged,
8,
and what was that experience like?
age 8. Well, where I had the problem was a junior school, being the only black girl. I had name calling, gollywog, and topsy, and go back to your country, etc. I was then, I had a problem in the school, being a boy hit me in the back of my head. I end up in hospital. If when After that, I got back to school, and the headmaster in assembly took me on stage and spoke to the children regarding my color and etc. Also, after that, in the playground, I met two friends, Mary and June, and they've been my friends from time. We walk home from school together, and so on. I then end up going to my uh, Glyn Road Girls' School, senior school, which again, I was the only black girl, but I progressed. I worked harder. My parents explained to me the position being black. I got, I worked hard in my studies and so on, and I even became a prefect eventually.
Oh, that's
I
really
was a
good.
captain for my netball team, my
You were quite
athletics,
sporty?
very sporty, bar hockey.
Okay.
Yeah. Apart from that, I got on very well there. Um, we then Job situation. That was another problem. Being my name was Golding, I thought it was a Jewish name, white person. I'd arrive at an interview, and they would look and said, "Oh, Miss Golding." I said, "Yes, I've come for the interview as a shorthand and typist." They then looked at me. Go. I remember waiting ages in the reception area, but I did not leave until I was seen. Eventually, I was seen to, knowing that I wouldn't get the job, but I spoke and explained to them who I was and what I can do. That was end of story. I did not hear from them after that.
Did that happen many times that you didn't get the job that you were interviewed for?
Well, eventually, yes, because I had to say to I joined an agency in London, and I let them know that when they're sending me for a job interview, please let them know that I'm a black person. The person that told looked at me and said, "Why should I?" I said, "Because I had problems." Eventually, I'd go. I did get the interview. I go for the interview. I got the job, and that was with Midlands Bank in Liverpool Street, and that's where I started as
Oh,
in a
wow.
typing pool, and
Oh,
that's
how
so
old were you at that time,
since
Doreen?
1780. That was seven. I was 17.
Okay, oh,
Yeah,
that was
yeah,
good.
yeah. But I got through 16. Yeah, and I got through, and I stayed there until my parents went to. My dad was posted to Singapore. I went there with my father, and I, I, it was a wonderful country. My father was in the Royal Air Force as as a warrant officer, and I expelled myself by finishing off my course. I then joined a theatre club, and I eventually entertainment at Christmas. I even took part of singing, which, and I even that was wonderful. That I even went to a radio show and I came
In
third.
in Singapore?
Yes, yeah,
Wow.
Singapore. Yeah, came third in the
Oh,
talent
brilliant.
talent show,
Okay.
Singapore.
And when did you come back to the UK then from Singapore?
In 63, 64, 65.
Okay.
1965, I came back. Yeah,
Okay.
and then that was how it started.
Is that because your dad came back or did
Yes,
you? Okay.
yeah, that came back, and that was it. I started working again. That
Okay.
was no problem.
And is that when you started working in the bank then?
Yes,
What was it like working in the bank?
Midlands Bank in Liverpool Street. Yeah, that was, as I said, I went there as a temp,
Yeah.
and for the day for the week, and I went after doing my jobs, working, doing what I had to do, typing and shorthand. I then went back to the agency, and they said, "Oh, Miss Golden, they will um, have you back again." So said, so done. They were
Beautiful. You were
impressed
impressed.
with me.
Okay. Did you ever marry?
Yeah, I got married in 1966, and the reason why, my to be my husband, he was in the Royal Air Force, and he was going to be posted to Cyprus. So I got married in the June and got married in and got I got engaged in the June, sorry, and
Mm.
I got married in November.
Okay. No messing about.
No, because he didn't want to leave me.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
beautiful.
So
Well, okay. So you lived in Cyprus for a while.
yeah, 3 years I did in Cyprus. My firstborn was Denise,
Mm-hmm.
and that was
Oh.
how it all started in 1967.
So Denise was born in Cyprus.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Because of course Cyprus was a British
Subject, yeah,
subject, weren't they?
military, yes.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
everything was all in English. We had the own school, hospitals, everything, married quarters, private accommodation.
okay.
We stayed in a private accommodation in Limassol,
Okay.
which we loved very much,
Mm,
and so
beautiful.
on.
And when did you come back to the UK?
67, 69, 69, 67, yeah, 69.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I got pregnant again with my
Mm,
daughter, Sharon, who was born in 1970.
okay.
Yeah.
And when did you come to Reading? How did you end up in Reading?
In Reading, I came to Reading in the 70s. We looked for a house, and we lived in Elm Park Road, which was
Okay.
good.
Off
Yes.
the Oxford
Off
Road.
the Oxford Road. Yeah, that's right. And I expelled from there. At the moment, I had a job still in C&A in
Oh.
London, so I used to travel down. Again, I was made up as a section leader, and I stayed there till I for 18, 8, 9, 9, 8 years, no, 10 years. Sorry, excuse my
Okay.
expression. And then I came back and worked at Norwich Union
In Reading.
in Reading, uh, and that was how things were at the
And what
time.
was it like working at Norwich Union in Reading? Because that was your first job then in Reading, wasn't it?
That's right. Yes,
What was
yes.
that like?
That was it was okay because I did what was told
Mm,
to I had to do, and then I was eventually I made up as the receptionist.
okay.
I was front of the office, and again, when people come, they said, "Miss Golding, I can't believe it's a
Mm,
black person because of the accent I had
mm.
and so on." But I got on very well with Norwich Union
Oh,
until they were
wonderful.
made redundant.
Okay. So coming to Reading from London, so you left the city to come to the country. What was that like?
Oh, country, very nice, fresh, different, quiet. The way where we were at the time, it was we settled down very well with the girls.
Were there many other Caribbean families?
Oh yes, I met quite a few that was living in Reading, as it was a community of nationality from Barbados but basically it was Barbadian from Barbados and a few Jamaicans at the time.
Mm.
And I got on well with the people that I met. We get together, have functions, etc., etc.
Oh, that's wonderful. And So you came here from 1952, so you're definitely a member of the Windrush generation, the first wave, actually.
Mm,
To be honest, your dad came in the 40s, you came in
mm,
the 50s.
mm.
So, what is a significant contribution that you think you've made to Reading since you've been here?
What I did was, I remember fashion fair was a makeup for women of color, and I remember going to Boots and asked if they could bring fashion fair to Reading for women of color. So said, so done. They did bring it, but
Well
unfortunate,
done.
the person that was dealing with it left, who was also black, left to have a baby. So they discontinued using fashion fair at Boots. When I went in, they said no, they had no one to cover. So I went to Debenhams and see the manager there and expressed myself, telling them, so said, so done. They brought fashion fair to Reading in
Well,
Boots the chemist.
that's
And
you were
in
instrumental.
Debenhams, sorry, excuse my expression. In Debenhams, they had fashion fair when they went into the Oracle, and they wanted me to be in charge, but at the time I was working still for Norwich Union. Eventually, they made redundancy, and I end up taking the job as a counter manager for Fashion Fair.
Oh wow, well
Mm,
done
mm,
you.
mm.
And what was that like? What was it like working for Debenhams, which was a
Oh,
big department store here in
oh,
Reading?
I settled down very well
Yeah.
because it was contribution, knowing that I'm going to look after my own people for
Oh,
color,
that's
because
fantastic.
makeup was a thing that was um Passion Fair did for women of color. So
Mm.
it was really lovely to see my people coming and buying these makeup and
Oh,
making up them as well at the
oh
same
wow,
time.
that's brilliant.
Hmm.
Oh, that's amazing. And so your father came in 1944. How do you feel to know that your father came in the 40s to be part of the war effort in the Second World War?
I was very proud to know that my father was in well, Second World War because of what happened by bringing him over from Jamaica to England. So I was very proud of him, and being he worked his way, his rank from corporal right up to warrant officer. So I was very proud of my father getting
Oh,
as far as he did.
oh, that's brilliant. Oh, thank you so much, Doreen, for sharing your story with us so that we can keep this as part of our legacy to this country. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're welcome.